All right, hey folks. So this is going to be the first part and hopefully multi-part series where we're going to explore OpenBSD. We're going to install it into a virtual machine using virt-manager. If you've ever used VirtualBox, it's like that, but it's not distributed by a blood-sucking corporation. And by blood-sucking corporation, I'm referring to Oracle. So we're using virt-manager rather, with a backend of KVM/Qemu. So first things first, you can download the ISO from openbsd.org. Click download, and we're going to use the ISO image here. So you just do this one. Already have it downloaded, so let's get started. This isn't so much a tutorial on virt-manager as much as it is just OpenBSD in general. So the first part, we're just going to walk through the install and get things set up with XFCE desktop. So let's get started. So ISO image, duh. I already have it in place under this path here. So select that. This just kind of helps set some defaults, some good defaults up for you if you select the operating system. Obviously it's not 7.3, it's 7.4, but anyway. I'll give it 8 gigs and we'll give it 4 CPUs. Storage is cheap, let's go 100 gig virtual disk, and we'll just call it OBSD desktop. And that should be good. We can do this as well. So I'm going to use a default bridge that libvirt sets up. Otherwise, you can select different things here. We'll customize before we actually run the install. I'll show you some things that you can change. I tend to set this to SATA, just from past experience. Everything else should be good to go. It's going to use the virt.io driver. OpenBSD is aware, it has those drivers built in, so we should be all set. Same thing with the NIC, the virt.io. If you have problems, you can change this to E1000. That usually works pretty well. That's all there really is to do here. So let's go ahead and get started on the install. It's going to boot from the CD-ROM. You provided it. It's going to boot up here. Detect all of our stuff, all of our hardware, and welcome to the installation program. You know, I wish every operating system installed this easily. It's just no frills, just to the point. I for install, default keyboard, hostname, call it OBSD, and because we're using virt.io driver, our NIC is VIO0 default. If you just hit enter, it'll accept the default in the brackets here. So IP version 4 address will be DHCP. IPv6, don't care, probably never will. And we're done with network. Root account password, TOOR, just for demo sakes. Obviously you would put a much more secure password than that on there. SSHD by default, yes. That will let us log in over SSH. Do you expect to run the X Windows system? For this demo, we're going to go through the desktop, so yes, we want X Windows system to be installed. And ZDM is the daemon that will actually start X for us on boot. So we'll set that to yes. Default console, no. So set up a user. I'll just use my name, Shane. Full name, Shane. Echo, password, well not echo. So happy BSD. Allow root SSH login, no. What time zone? Eastern. My disk, virtual disk is SD0. We'll accept that. Encrypt, no. Because our disk is less than 2 terabytes, we probably don't need GPT, and we're not doing UEFI. So whole disk is fine. The auto layout is probably acceptable for us. We can tweak things if we want to, but right now we'll just accept the default layout. All right, the packages are all on the CD-ROM, so CD0 under that path. And because I said install the X Windows server, it automatically selected all the packages for us. So done. Verification, yes. Or continue without verification, yes. And it's installing. It's that easy. So we'll hang here for a second. And we're done. So done. It's going to go to the internet, look for firmware updates. That's done. It's going to create a unique kernel just for me because I'm special. This is kind of a OpenBSD security feature. The install is done, so we can just reboot, and libvirt/virt-manager will automatically eject the CD when it reboots for us. So now it'll just boot from the hard drive. All right, it's starting up still. It's going to run syspatch, which is a command line tool for installing patches to the kernel and system as a whole, rather. So I don't think it actually installs anything. I think it just checks for packages and lets us install it later. But that's what it's doing right now. All right, and here is our X display. We'll log in, maybe. Shane, happy BSD. All right, let's expand this display a little bit. It's kind of ugly, you know, the default install, I think. I'm not a fan of FVWM. So we will install XFCE. Get a terminal here. Not sure why it does this. You have to like scan or scroll over here and there. All right, so let's become root. TOR. All right, so we go root now. We can install packages. I know from previously doing this a while back, the package is just called XFCE. Might be a 4. I'm not really sure if I can forget. So let's just try this, XFCE. All right, looks like that was it. It's going to download all the dependencies for a full desktop and install them all. So I will probably just pause this here while this does its thing. And we'll come back when it's done. All right, that's done. We have XFCE4. So let's go ahead and we could reboot, or we could just restart X. To restart X, we have to be root. All right, so we will rcctl. That's kind of like systemctl in Linux land to enable and disable services. Xenodm. Again, Xenodm is like the daemon that starts X for you, because you can't start X as a regular user. So, all right, so now we have. I forgot to actually configure XFCE to start. So let's do BIX session. That's the file in your home directory that you'll have to create to actually select different window managers. So we'll do exec start XFCE4. So start XFCE4 is just a script that will start up the desktop for you. So now that I've set my default window manager, we can do that again. CTL restart Xenodm. All right, so if we log in now, we should get an XFCE desktop, which we do. Fantastic. How pretty. All right. So settings, display. Let's make this bigger. But Shane, we can't. We only have these resolutions to select from. This is primarily because of the VESA driver the X is using, because we did not pass in a GPU or anything like that. So we will have to configure some extra resolutions here, which is kind of cumbersome, but it's probably only really applicable if you're using a virtual machine and thus stuck with a VESA driver. So we will have to get around that. So to do that, let's open up a terminal. And again, we will have to be root to do this. And so first thing first is to go to this directory. We will create xorg.conf.d. So and go into that directory. And we need to place a configuration snippet here. Surprise, I have a blog post about this exact thing. It's part of the reason I wanted to kind of demonstrate this. But we need this in that file. But we can't just copy paste into the virtual machine. So we'll have to get it there somehow. One option is to just do SFTP into the virtual machine. Another option is just to use this neat little hack. So we'll create some on this desktop here, this host. We'll save it as 10-virtual.conf. So that's on this system, host system. So this little Python snippet here, it just creates a little web server on port 8000 that we'll use to download that here. So in OpenBSD, with the default packages, you can use the command line FTP. Yes, it's not actually FTP because we're going to use it to download a file over HTTP. 16.122.1. So this address, I'll get to it in a second. We called it 10-virtual, and it's port 8000, not 800. All right, so libvirt, when you install it on Linux, it will automatically create this default bridge, and the host will get the first IP, and then virtual machines on this this bridge will get something very similar. So I think in here we have 122.104. But regardless, our little web server here is listening on port 8000 on all interfaces. So we can just do this command and it will download that file from our host. So let's do that. All right, so now we have the file in our virtual machine. I don't have a bin yet, so, and this is what it looks like. It's very generic, but this you can add more resolutions here if you want. For this little demonstration, I really just want like 1600 by 900 or something else. This is a good default, but you can add more here if you want. All right, so now that that's there, we can restart X again. Restart dm, and you'll immediately notice we have a larger display here. So let's log back in. All right, so let's set our resolution now. Settings, display. So we can set clear up to this now. All right, this is more like it. This is a lot easier to work with here. That's the gist. That's kind of part one. In the next series, we'll kind of walk through some other customizations and packages that we might want to install. For example, let's definitely install like Firefox or some kind of decent web browser. To do package add Firefox as root, of course, and then we'll have a good web browser to work with. So, all right, that's all for this one. Thank you for watching. All right, peace.